Hello and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity. Now I'm just popping on real quick just to do some announcements and let you guys know how I intend to cover The Expanse. Because The Expanse, if you know anything about me, my channel should know it's my favorite show that is currently airing. And it is returning for season 5 this coming Thursday. Wednesday, with first 3 episodes dropping. I'm very excited about that. So I am just gonna let you guys know what my plans are for it. So first of all, I am so happy that it's going to be released weekly. I think I talked about this before. Last year when they dropped it all at once, it was a bit difficult. I had to decide how I wanted to cover it, and I couldn't talk about it week to week. But this time, I can. And hello, David. How's it going in the chat? Anyway, so what I plan to do is, of course, cover it weekly with a episode review for every episode. For the first 3 episodes, since they're all dropping all the same day, I'm not going to group them all in one video. I am going to do separate videos for each video because I decided for each episode because I decided this the Expanse is the big deal, and I kind of want to cover every episode separately. Like in season 4, even though they binge dropped the whole season at once, I still made a point to do a separate video for each episode. So I'm going to do the same thing when they're dropping these first 3 episodes at once. But unlike in season 4, I dropped every episode review like a week after the other, but this time I will drop all 3 of my episode reviews all at once, and hopefully I'll get them all out the same day, Wednesday, that it's released. I don't know what my work schedule is. I probably will be working that day, but I'm going to try to cram in all this Expanse watching and review making in that day. Hold that thought, David. I'm going to get back to that topic a bit later. But anyway, the so so the first week I'm going to do my review for episodes 1 and 2 and 3, and so I'm going to do it like the way I did my season 4 review, where I'll watch the episode, go off, record my review, then watch the next episode, go off and record my review, and then go off and watch the last episode, rather than watching them all the episodes at once and then recording my review for each episode, because then I'll know what happens in future episodes. I'll get the episodes blended in my head. It was a very difficult thing for me to do for season 4 because I had to show restraint and patience, because all I wanted to do is sit down and watch the next episode. But I had to go off and at least record the audio. Like, I'll edit it later or whatever, but at least get the thoughts of my episode out of my head before I'm just sort of polluted by watching the episode after. So I'm going to do that with these 3 episodes, and then of course I'll edit them all at once and probably hopefully drop them all on my YouTube channel Wednesday. And then every week after that, it's just 1 episode at a time. So that's very simple. We'll be back to normal. Now, still not the only thing I'll be doing to cover The Expanse. I also will be doing a live discussion video. So yes, I will be coming on here live like I am right now, each and every week to talk about the new episode of The Expanse. And I'll be joined by special guests. Now, Darren over from on D's Reviews, whom I've done videos with in the past, he has agreed to be my co-host for this venture, which I'm very excited about. So he'll be joining me each and every week, every Thursday night at, I believe we said 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. East Coast time in the U.S., Thursday night, so the day after it airs. So that's why I'm going to try to get my actual review, my individual review, out on Wednesday, so I can have it out in time to do these live discussion videos. And I have asked off work every Thursday for this, so that I will be able to do this every Thursday night. I'll be joined by Darren, and a different guest will be joining me and Darren every week, either Don Willie or my sister Alyssa. Sort of kind of probably alternate between the 2 of them. So there'll be 3 of us I always like a discussion with three people. I think four, it gets a bit too muddy, so I'm trying to keep down to three. But yeah, so Don and Alyssa will be joining us as well, sort of alternating, and me and Darren will be there every week, every Thursday. Hopefully, if Darren can't make it, then someone else can fill in, whatever. Or if we have a discussion with two people, that's fine. Point is, I will definitely be there every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Wednesday, my review, Thursday. And for the first three episodes, in this case, we will be doing just one stream for all three episodes because it doesn't make sense to try to split it up for each episode. So we will be talking about all three episodes in their first live stream, which Alyssa will be joining us for the first one. So me, Darren, and Alyssa are going to talk about the first three episodes. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. Also, you might know on my channel I've done book to show comparison series before. Now last year I tried doing it like at the same time as I drop each episode review, and I found that was actually a bad idea. I couldn't keep up because of these book to show comparison videos, even though hardly anyone watches them. I'm more doing it for my own, just because I want to. Because I find it interesting, and I'm a completionist, so I've started it, I want to finish it. But they're very time consuming. And so I found I could not keep up trying to do it week to week. It was actually making me delay everything. So I'm not even going to try to do my book to show comparison videos while season 5 is airing, because I know I won't be able to keep up because I'm doing, this review and a live video, and plus my discovery reviews will still be going, and also other videos, one other video a week that I pre-record will also still be going. So I just won't have the time. So I'm actually just going to push back my book to show comparison videos for season 5 until after season 5 is there, to give me something to do in between seasons. And that way I'm not sort of rushing to do everything at once. Because with the book to show comparison, I have to watch the episode and read the chapters relevant to that episode, and then type out, go scene by scene and type out how each scene compares to the book. Is extremely time consuming. So, and even when I start doing this, it won't be able to be once a week, because I think that would trip me up as well if I tried doing them once a week, maybe once every other week or something like that. But anyway, so that's what's going to be going on with the book to show comparison. So it'll be after the season, but during the season, I said my weekly reviews and weekly discussion videos with Darren and Alyssa and Don joining as well. So really excited about that. So that's basically what I'll be doing to cover The Expanse. I cannot wait for it to air. So excited. Now, David in the chat says, this pause thing for The Expanse get me mad, but somewhat hopeful. Yeah, and here's the thing. If you don't know what David's referring to, there was, I think it was one of the authors. I think it was, I have it right here. It was both of them. Abraham Ty Frank and Daniel Abraham were saying that how the Expanse is coming to an end after season 6, and so they refuted the everyone calling it a cancellation. And in fact, the first time I heard about it, someone said, "Oh, the Expanse is canceled." I'm like, "What? Canceled?" And I looked it up, and they're like, "It's going to end after season 6." And they said it's not a cancellation, and I actually agree. I think using the term cancellation is inaccurate. I mean, they basically, and apparently they said that they kind of knew, they didn't know for certain, but they kind of knew when they first got picked up by Amazon that they might just go to season 6. And they called it, referring to what David says specifically, they called it a pause point rather than a cancellation. And that's something unique. No TV show has used that term before and said, "Oh, this is just a pause point." But I guess the nature of TV is kind of changing. So calling a pause point kind of implies that's not the end, that it will be back. Now, if you're not aware of The Expanse, there's 9 novels of The Expanse, and it looks like each season going forward will cover a corresponding book. Like season 4 covered book 4, season 5. Naren Shankar said in an interview that season 5 will pretty much more or less cover book 5. So that means season 6 is probably going to cover season 6. And then the show's going to end before we get to books 7, 8, and 9. So that had me really bummed out. Has a lot of people really bummed out because we feel like that this story's not going to be completed in TV because, slight spoilers, but books 7, 8, and 9 resolve the whole proto-molecule storyline. And so if the show ends at book 6, then we won't get, show watchers won't get any resolution to the proto-molecule storyline. Now, I do understand what they mean by the end of season 6 being a good pause point, because if it ends the same place where book 6 ends, that is like a pause point, is what I would call it, because again, slight spoilers for book 7, but book 7 starts decades later, so it's like a huge time jump, and so it's kind of beginning a new story. So I think it would make sense for, that if they're going to end the show, rather than end it in the middle of season 7 or in the middle of book 7 and then in the cliffhanger once they start the story, it makes sense that once they're at a good place to stop, which book 6 would be a good place to stop there, rather than risk not completing the story and just stopping right in the middle of a cliffhanger or whatever, because at least book 6 is at least the end of that section, that segment of story, which will begin here in season 5, because books 5 and 6 pretty much are kind of a two-parter. It's kind of connected, so I think that's how seasons 5 and 6 will go. So at least they're not ending at season 5, because that would be terrible. It would end in the middle of a cliffhanger. At least they're going to end once this particular story has been resolved. But here's the thing about them calling it a pause point. That does make me hopeful that, as I said, like, they do intend to do books 7, 8, 9 eventually at some point. Now, this is all speculation. We don't know for sure. A lot of people are guessing that they'll wait like a decade or something and do another series because the characters are a lot older in those books, so they can wait till the actors age up a bit to match. I'm actually thinking that maybe the plan is to do movies, to do made for Amazon movies, because I could see book 7 in particular, I think would fit a 2.5 hour movie. I don't think you would lose too much. And even like a mini series, if it's like 4 hour mini series, I think you could definitely do book 7 in one. Book 8 is, well, you would lose stuff. You would lose a lot of the minor stories, but I think it's still doable without it feeling completely rushed the way that, say, book 3 did. I still think you would be able to pull it off with book 8. Now, book 9 hasn't been released yet, so I can't say for sure. But I kind of hope that's the direction they're going with. And I hope that, how before each season airs, they announce, oh, this show's been renewed for the next season. I'm hoping right before season 6 airs, we'll get an announcement TV movies are being made. But that's really wishful thinking on my part. But I'd much rather they do movies than just drop it and never finish the story. That would irritate me. I mean, the thought of having to wait like another decade for them to complete the story also kind of bothers me. So I'd rather they release. And I heard like some thought they'd release like a spin-off show and they'd have different characters to finish the story. That would annoy me as well, because in the books it's not different characters, it's Holden and the others who finish the story. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. So the chat's going pretty heavily. I'm gonna backtrack a bit to see what's going on. Yeah, David agrees that books 7 through 9 are awesome. Well, we're assuming 9 is going to be awesome because that's not out yet. But yeah, books 7 and 8 are awesome. 8, I think after I read book 8, I was like, this may be my favorite book of the series. But I said that a lot. I said that book 3, then I said it about book 6. I don't know. Most people love book 5. I actually prefer book 6. I've actually heard quite a few people, like, it was on Expanse, message boards and quite a few people saying they didn't even like book 6 and thought that was their least favorite. I'm like, what? Get out of here! I think I like book 6 better than book 5. That's just me. What else do we got here? Yeah, didn't the authors come out and say that they saw? Yeah, that's I. You probably joined after I mentioned that, Striker. But yes, there was an article I was specifically referencing where the authors did come out and refer to it as specifically, and they said specifically, it's not a cancellation, not being cancellation. This is a pause point, is the term that they used. Direct quote from Ty Frank. He says, "We have what we think is a very natural pause point for the story after season 6. It will feel like a satisfying end to the story we've been building over the first 5 seasons. I think one of the things that this sort of an outdated idea or outmoded idea is the idea of being canceled." See, and that's where I kind of disagree because shows are canceled. Like, I would say that BoJack Horseman was canceled, even though, like, at the it was in between season 5 and 6, they announced that season 6 would be the last season. So very similar to what's happening here, but I think it's fair to call that a cancellation because the showrunners wanted to keep going with that show, but Netflix gave them a heads up. Hey, we're not going to produce any more seasons for you after season 6. So if you want to, wrap up this story, you should do that. And they're like, oh, thanks for the heads up, and no animosity or whatever. But I don't know. I still see that a cancellation. If that's a cancellation, then this kind of is. I don't know. Unless the main reason why I think it wouldn't be a cancellation, and this isn't confirmed with any of the interviews, if the showrunners themselves specifically called for the show to come to an end, which it doesn't seem like that's the case, but I don't know. Yeah, okay, and what else have we got here? Honestly, what we got to do is just watch the fuck out of it. I mean, yeah, of course. Obviously. I mean, I was going to do that anyway. Yeah, okay, like Striker says, yeah, don't ever tell a sci-fi fan that getting canceled is an outdated concept. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it definitely still happens. I mean, come on. But anyway, it's funny because, I do think it's a misuse of the term. Like I was first alerted because someone made a comment on one of my videos, which was I first heard about it. It's like, oh wow, the Expanse is getting canceled. At least we get season 6. And I'm like, canceled? And I looked it up and I was like, I mean, kind of. But I think a worse example of this is the show Dark, which is another show that I love. And I was talking to someone. It was in between season 2 and 3. So while I was waiting for season 3, and someone talked about the show and said, "Oh, this is a great show. You should watch it." And they're like, "Oh, I heard that show got canceled," and I flipped out. I'm like, "No, it's canceled," because in my mind, that meant there would be no season 3. That the show's going to end on the cliffhanger and it's never going to be resolved. And I flipped the fuck out. But so I went online, I read an article, and they said, "Oh, the show's coming to an end after season 3." I'm like, that's not canceled, especially in that case where I think they specifically, the showrunners only wanted to do 3 seasons and they wanted to tell the story and end the story in season 3, which, by the way, I thought was a great decision. I thought the show would have dragged too long had it not ended after season 3. So I thought that was a total misuse of the term cancel. I think people sort of get it stuck in their heads too much that if a show is going to come to an end that relates to cancel, where there's a difference, especially when it comes to Dark. It gets a bit more muddied when you're looking like something like BoJack Horseman or The Expanse, but something like Breaking Bad, for example, or some of the Star Trek shows, they specifically decided to end, which is what good shows should do. They should end when they when they want to. They should plan their ending instead of keep going and going way past their time, which is shows like Dexter and 24 and The Walking Dead and some other shows do. They just keep going and going and going, and they outlive their welcome long after they're good. The Simpsons should have ended decades ago. But anyway, yeah. All right, so I think I'm caught up in the chat, and that's pretty much all I got to say about that. I've went on a lot longer than I intended to, but I will see you guys next week I'll see you this Wednesday. I will drop 3 videos for the 3 episodes that are coming out. And then Thursday night, join me here and again in the chat. Join the discussion, put in your input. I'll be joined by Darren and Alyssa Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So really hope to see all you guys there. Wait, one more thing. Striker in the chat says, F in the chat to Caprica, SJU, Colony. Those shows definitely got canceled. LOL. Man, the High Castle also had a similar situation with BoJack Horseman. Yeah, I gave up on Man in the High Castle. To be fair, I thought that show was going a bit downhill. I don't know if I ever liked it that much, but that's just me. But yes, Caprica, SGU, Stargate Universe is a great example of a show that was most certainly canceled. That it ended without resolving its story, and that's very frustrating. Colony got canceled. I didn't realize that because I never watched that show. I've been meaning to, but never got around to it. But anyway, thanks so much for watching and joining in. And as I said, yes, we'll see you guys Thursday night in the chat, and Wednesday for my reviews. Catch you later.